Okay, yeah, it's been a busy few days, to say the least. We got back from Pacific last week, and then we were around for a few days, and then we got back on a plane and headed to Central Arkansas for 2 games. But you know, I think we had those 3 games, and then our Concordia game last night. And I think kind of starting with the Pacific game. Uh, a lot of resiliency with this crew. We sure haven't played, in a sense, offensively perfect. We're not winning games by going out and making 12, 13 threes and just shooting teams out of the gym. It's almost been the opposite. And I think with Pacific, a lot of it was just kind of hanging in there, defensively kind of figuring it out, getting the stops we needed. And obviously, yeah, I think T in that game was really, really good. And just different guys at different moments carried us. And rebounding's been big. Offensive rebounding's been big. And then just timely stops and timely baskets. And then just kind of sticking with it. It's a good win. Anytime you can beat a West Coast Conference team in their gym, I think they're trying to figure it out a little bit too. But it was a good win for us. You get back and we get a couple practices, and we get to Central Arkansas. You play a New Orleans team that's got a great guard, and we kind of described them all as a bunch of JYDs, a bunch of junkyard dogs in a sense. And when you use that kind of as an example, a lot of it is they're kind of alpha male type guys that all are about 6'5" to 6'7", that love to compete, that play really physical, that come right at you. And then they've got a guy like Jordan Johnson, who was at Denver, now at New Orleans. That's, I think, one of the better shooters in the country. And I just think, he's the head of the snake. We had to slow him down, make it hard on him, and I think we were able to do that. And then at the end of the day, win some one-on-one matchups as they're really driving at you. And again, that game was back and forth. We had her ups, we had her, downs. But again, we kind of stuck with it. Down 8 with, I think, under 3 to play. And, again, guys, just we get a few stops, we get a couple easy baskets, and next thing you know, we're in a position where we're tying the game and then winning the way we did in overtime. We're pretty fortunate that we had a few seconds left when Jordan missed that shot, and Trey did a great job of pitching it ahead to Elijah. And it was a fun way to end the game and not have to go to double overtime. I think the situation was. I don't even know what the score was. Was that? Yeah. So it was nice to get that stop, but then to score on it, which a lot of times when they had the ball with that last second, you're not going to get a chance to make that kind of play. But the guys, clock, understanding where the clock is, time is, and Elijah just ripping to the rim, did an awesome job. And Central going, the next game at Central Arkansas with Eastern Michigan, they looked apart. Like, they've got high major transfers and physically really athletic, big size, and the Acuff kid is fantastic. As good as Jordan Johnson is, Acuff just brings a different gear that you have to guard. And I think that showed. Like, we put our best on him, and he was scoring on us like we weren't even in the gym. We really made it hard. We put him in phone booths a little bit, as far as that. When those ball screens happened, we got in his rearview mirror a lot, and he still was able to make shots like we weren't there. And good player. I think he ended up with 30-plus on us. But again, the guys kind of make plays when we need to make plays and get the stops. A lot of extra shots from offensive rebounds, and there we are at the end, making plays down the stretch to win it and getting the stops we needed to win it. So good wins. Concordia, we had the day out. We traveled back Sunday after the game, so that was a long day. I think we started with a 8 a.m. pregame meal, and then you play a noon tip, and then you're on a plane, and we get back here at, close to midnight, I think. It was late. You took Monday off because we hadn't really had an off day without it being a travel off day. And it was so we did a game day scout with Concordia, and as I'm watching film, I'm just knowing what we're in for. They're a hard-nosed group of guys that play with a lot of, they really have a great belief in what they're doing, and they play with great pace. And I think we saw that. I think we did some things to figure it out kind of as the game went on. But a lot of split action, a lot of post ducking, a lot of actions where, we had to do some emergency switching and different things. But as the game went on, I thought we picked it up. Second part of that first half, we really put the clamps, I thought, down defensively, made life hard. And then a good stretch in the second half, we were able to do the same. And obviously it was fun to see BJ kind of cut loose a little bit and have some fun and really start seeing the ball go through. His second half against Eastern was awesome, and you could really start seeing it then. And then I thought he just took off where he left off against Eastern in this Concordia game. But Concordia's a good team. I liked how they played, but I liked how our guys found a way. I think we really put it to them there for a stretch. But it's going to be a pretty. We got to go easy on them today. We got a tired, beat up kind of crew right now. So with us going on the road on Thursday, which is tomorrow, I believe, for 2 games, we got to get right physically and get the minds right coming into these next 2 games.
Questions? Well, Coach, on the road, did you really feel maybe a change in depth for your program when certain guys might not have had their best, but you still had options to pick it up? It seemed like you had more weapons at your disposal when certain guys weren't having huge games.
Well, Elijah Brooks and Brady Danielson and Amar off the bench early. We're starting Amar now, but those guys have just been fantastic off the bench, and to have that kind of experience off the bench, guys. Brady's been down this road. He just knows who he is as a player. And he's got such a high level of just figure it out on the floor, and he just makes our team so much better. And Elijah Brooks has a lot the same, like being able to put those guys off the bench in the game defensively, but then on offense as well. Like Elijah, like our percentages with those guys coming off the bench from a field goal standpoint was phenomenal. In particular, Elijah and Amar. We made the change. And we put Dang, and we had a guy like Brian Matthews that has been a little bit beat up, but has been working so hard to get back, and it was a good opportunity against a big Eastern Michigan team to kind of go bigger, and really get Brian out on the floor and get him going again. And I thought he did a nice job. So I like our depth, and Mara's still got, it's so early in the year yet, and like we just need to kind of keep him settling in. Like he just didn't get the summer with the guys and everything we're doing. So I think every time he's out there, it's hard because you're trying to go out there and make it great minutes. And he didn't get on the floor much over the weekend. We got him in quite a bit last night. But I just think as time goes on, I love our bench, and I think it adds so much value when you can go to your bench and really trust what you're getting each night.
Where can you guys grow? What do you want to see get better here?
Well, it's from an offensive standpoint, it's seeing the ball go through from 3. And I think sometimes when you're pressing a little bit on offense, you have a tendency to take some early ones and ones that aren't necessarily, maybe they're open, but they're not necessarily in the flow of an offense. And I like us. Look, we're really good right now. I think we're in the top 5 or 6 in the country in post and that kind of stuff inside. Our 2-point field goal percentage is phenomenal. So we're really making an emphasis of trying to, we want to push with pace and look for easy and sweet shots early, but if we don't, continue to get player movement, because as guys cut and space and move with pace, we get great looks. And I think sometimes we don't have the patience to do it. And as we can get better at dribbling less, passing, cutting, playing with pace more, and getting that ball moving, and then our attacking with a dribble becomes a lot better. And sometimes it's first side, second side, early offense where we're trying to just attack. And it's not always easy in the first side. Just defenses are set a lot of times. So to try to get more movement, defensively, we need to really improve. Like we got to do a better job of taking away some threes. We get caught making mistakes In ball screen coverage, we get caught making mistakes. Transition defense getting back. There's just things that we got to clean up, and we've got to be a team that for 40 minutes doesn't have lulls defensively, and then doesn't have these lulls offensively where I think we kind of get maybe 5-6 possessions in a row at times where we kind of just take the easy way out offensively and don't move the ball the way we can. And I think that's got to be something for us that's really different and special compared to other teams. We're not a high-volume ball screen team where you can come down and just get an advantage right off the gate. We're 2 on the ball. I don't think that's our makeup. If you have a guy like Tyree, it's probably a little bit more like that. But just with our makeup, I think we could be great as cutters, as attacking gaps and really finding an advantage. Getting help and getting defensive out of position. And sometimes we don't work at it hard enough. We just kind of come down and settle because we can get that shot. Well, when you got 6'6", 6'8", skilled guys, they can get their shot most any time. So it's just finding a way to be a little more patient and really work the ball and make the defense work. So I love how we're rebounding. I still think we can run more. When we get stops, we got different guys that can all just grab and go and just go, get corners filled and play with pace. And when we do that, like I think the difference in the game, I want to say, I don't even know which game because I'm a little confused on it, but I think we had 20 turnovers, but we were our points off, I think we were 21-11 or something, 21-13 points off turnovers, and we're the ones that had 20 turnovers in the game, and that might have been the New Orleans game. I'm not even sure. But we're playing with some pace, and I think that helps us. We can be more consistent with it.
You talk about your depth, but at the same time, a little bit different than last year. You had the same starters, or at least similar to that.
Yeah. I mean, are you talking from last year's starters to this year's starters?
Yeah, I know, the first 10 games or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, we
starters every game.
I don't think any coach loves to just change lineups a lot, and I think this year is a little different. When you have experienced guys back, that understand their roles a little bit more, we've been able to kind of keep the same lineup. I loved how Dang played last night, and when you kind of look at what Amar's been doing from an effort and a really consistency, like he really understands who he is and how he fits. And when you're new, it doesn't always happen that fast, and you see it with Dang where, man, he has flashes of just his length and athleticism and ability to move from point A to point B is unmatched. Like, he's phenomenal. But getting that consistency from him. So we made that change simply because Amar was doing his job so well. T's really been versatile. We've been able to play him at some 4, and we go a little bit bigger. That's helped. But, it's been nice to not have – I don't love making a lot of lineup changes. Last year was different. We just were searching for that lineup and that group, and we were playing a lot of guys. We redshirt a number of guys, and Tyree's out, so our group is 11 guys that we can play, and that includes Mara and Hong. So I mean, we got a little bit shorter bench, so it's a little bit easier to kind of navigate through that.
You mentioned resiliency of your group, but what is it about those close battles that make you guys come out on top? Different
guys are making plays. I think our length, our athleticism. Eli King, his stats don't necessarily in offense tell the story about what he's doing for us. He made a couple big plays last night defensively. He gets his hands on so many things, and he's really still continuing to learn. He's a point guard in the Division I program, and this is his first year getting on the floor a ton and playing in that kind of role. So, but we've had different guys make different plays, and a lot of times it's our length and our athleticism that we can make up for some mistakes, but make some plays protecting the rim at different spots that we haven't been able to do in the past, and then I think just having different guys, T and BJ and Trayson have kind of been the 3 guys that are pretty consistent scorers for us. So it's nice to kind of have those 3 guys, but guys can play off them some. And you see that. It's like I said, we're not relying on just 1 or 2. I think we've got a group of guys that all at moments really step up and make some big time plays for us. And resolve and resiliency. Like I told our group, we can get a lot tougher, but our resolve and our resiliency has been great. Like we've continued to believe throughout, even though we've been down in each of those games. But like we gotta toughen up better for 40 minutes and put it into a complete game. And these next two games with Fullerton and Riverside, just when you add all the different things going on, like this is an awesome opportunity, this trip, because we're a little tired and beat up. How much toughness do we have coming in and playing on Fullerton's home floor, because they're going to be really good there, and then going and playing a Riverside team that in the last few years have just been fantastic. So good opportunity.
6-1's best start in UND's this program's history. What does that mean to you, and how do you look to kind of continue and build on that?
I guess I'm really excited for our guys that it's just an opportunity to kind of build some confidence in our program and what we're doing. But in a sense, it's just it doesn't mean anything really, right? I mean, it's early in the season. It's great to have some success with it. I think you get guys that start having confidence. But it's a long season, and you got to be able to withstand the ups and downs, and you got to handle success just like you handle failure. They're both kind of imposters if you let them sneak in and kind of dictate your mindset and your attitude. Stay humble, stay hungry, and continue to find ways to individually impact your team and help our team get better. And don't start believing what people are telling you, because at the end of the day, usually you're never as good as what they tell you, and you're never as bad as what they tell you. You just got to stay a little more, straight ahead vision, right? Like a goldfish, huh? That's for you, Tim, right there, man.
Coach, when I talked to BJ at the beginning of the season, he was talking about a transition from more of a forward to a guard. 7 games in, how do you feel that's been going?
Well, he's a better rebounder at that spot. I think it really helps him. He's been a better offensive rebounder at spot because he's kind of rebounding from the outside in instead of the inside out. So he's not matched up with guys that are weighing 30 pounds, 40 pounds more than him. That helps him on both ends of the floor. He's a really good handler, and he can get by guys. And I think the thing for him sometimes is to have patience and let him know the ball's going to get back to him. But I love what he's doing, and I love the fact that it allows us to play big at that spot, at the 3, but then also be bigger at the 4, right? I just think that's really important. And so I just think defensively life's better for him, and we can put him without cross-matching. A lot of times when you put your 4s and 5s on guards, it's a cross-match, and when you're rebounding and different responsibilities, it's hard to have those matchups. With him at a 3, it kind of allows us to have him guards. He guarded Jordan Johnson and did an awesome job on him a lot. Different guys did. Elijah Brooks did as well. But just BJ at that more of a guard position allows us to move him defensively. And he's a pain, man. He's 6'8", he's long, and when he's guarding 6'2" guys, he's got a great matchup in Max Jones coming up on Friday. Because, I think he had 30 at Nebraska, that kid did. And he's a 6'5", 6'6", guard, so to speak. So, it gives us a lot more versatility with him at that spot on defense.